We got another week in the books, college football. We saw some phenomenal games out there. Matter of fact, we saw some 50 burgers get put on some folks out there. But boy, you know what? Before I get into all of that, I got to do this. 2 years ago, on October 4th, I lost somebody very near and dear to me that, you know, I continue to keep moving forward in his name because I am his namesake. You see that guy sitting over there over my shoulder? And crazy thing is, today I get a phone call and another family member passed away today. So I want to give a moment of silence for my Aunt Barbara Smith. And I want to send condolences, comfort, and love to the family members up there in Detroit, Michigan, letting them know that everything going to be all right. I will be checking in with you guys this week to make sure everything is on the up and up. But let's get, y'all give my family a moment of silence right now, and we're going to go ahead and get on into this content. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. It's with a heavy heart that I got to deliver this to some folks, boy, because football, this football season has taken a turn where you got some teams that's ready to show what they got and show just how they are built, because they want everybody to know that they're built for everlasting. They're I ain't gonna say Ford tough because I'm not a Ford driver kind of guy, but you know they built the last. They everlast. They built the last. They like the Energized Bunny. They just gonna keep on going. And it was kind of like that with the scoreboard this weekend. I know you're like, Coach, what's your thoughts on some of these games? Boy, you know what? I'm gonna talk about them right after this. You know, it's your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow League Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, share these videos, and tap in a friend or two and tell them to come on in. It's nothing but positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get on in this thing because I've got to tell you right now, boy, it's some foolery going on. Well, I ain't gonna say foolery because that ain't cool to put it out there like that. I'm not gonna say foolery, but I will say this. There's one game in particular had me wondering, like, what are we doing? And they were trying to find their rhythm as far as with the quarterback, you know, the quarterback position, trying to get things rolling so that they can get themselves a win on their home field. Well, in all honesty, it didn't quite work out that way. Talk about none other than Fort Valley versus Central State University. I'm going to tell you right now, both of these teams got some athletes out there playing some ball. And truth be told, some of these quarterbacks that I'm seeing play ball in Division II, they kind of better than some of these folks we see in Division I right now. I'm just being honest with you. Hey, don't get back to your favorite coach. I'm just telling you what it is. I don't know if it's the development. I don't know if it's the coaching. I don't know if it's who they go see in the off season, during the season, whatever it is that's getting them together for them to come out there and be able to compete out there on the field. These young men, they're looking good. And I want to give them their flowers because guess what? Week in, week out, I continue to keep seeing this over and over again. So salute to y'all. But Fort Valley had a rough time at the quarterback position this past weekend because they had to play 3 different quarterbacks. And I'm just like, all right, guys, when you got to do that, we got a problem. And out of the 3, 2 of them, they threw 2 interceptions, which, you know, kind of hindered some of those drives that they had in the game where they were driving down the field, you know, put themselves in position so that they could possibly put some points up on the board. But, guys, I got to say this. You know, hey, coach is going to keep it real with you all the way. I'm keep it funky with you straight up. We gotta chill on these penalties, man. These penalties is killing y'all. And the funny thing about it is Central State had 11 daggone penalties for 94 yards, and Fort Valley had 9 for 57. But this is the kicker, though. You got players out there when the game is in the balance, trying to see who's gonna possibly come away with this victory. You got folks out there going upside each other's head, getting mad about what's going on. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a Central State player got ejected from the game. I think it was the running back got ejected from the game. And luckily that didn't come back to bite them in the behind. The defense was able to go ahead and stand tall and keep Fort Valley from moving that ball down to get into a position for them to go ahead and kick a field goal to win the game. Now, crazy thing is, I'm sitting there watching this game and I'm looking at the quarterbacks getting changed out, and I see true freshman Don Hudson Jr. get put back out there in the game. And I'm trying to figure out, like, wait a minute, this young man had such a great game against Clark Atlanta. Why wouldn't the coaches, Willie Totten and the head coach over there at Fort Valley, why wouldn't they continue to keep running this young man, keep playing this young man at the position? I guess, the number one quarterback finally came back for them, that might have been injured or whatever have you, and that was their guy. But I'm just like, guys, you know what? This right now, the record that Fort Valley has right now is not what I'm seeing out there with the team itself. That team is a damn good team that can get out there and beat anyone any given week. They just couldn't pull the rabbit out the hat against the Central State team. I got to give Central State their props as well. They got the young coach over there doing some phenomenal things with that program, and they got the young men that are buying into what he's putting, what he's pouring into them as far as what getting out there and compete on the field. And I love the fact that the coach got with the player that got ejected from the game, let them know, hey, listen, son, you can't do that. This will hinder you as far as with you not being able to play the remainder of this game and end up out next week. So I'm hoping everything works out for that young man and they're able to go ahead and continue on their season doing what they need to do. But who was that? We had Campbell Caldwell. I don't want to mess up the young man's first name for Central State. He completed 14 of 21 passes for 163 yards, had one interception. As I stated before, Fort Valley, they had three quarterbacks. You had JQ Hart, Sadiq Till, and you had Don Hudson. Hart and Till both had two interceptions themselves. They both threw two interceptions. Hart threw two touchdown passes in the game. Those two touchdown passes were caught by J.T. Pendleton and I want to say J.T. Pendleton and Paul Berkeley were able to catch those touchdown passes in the game. J.T. Pendleton had 4 receptions for 78 yards. He led Fort Valley in reception yards in the game. Hopefully next week, Fort Valley, they move on to play Benedict College next week, who is undefeated. So we're going to see exactly what they can do against Benedict College football team next week. They're going to Benedict to go play them in South Carolina. So good luck to them in that game. And we want to see exactly what Benedict College is going to do as well. Now, this next game we're going to talk about here. Listen, look. Looky, here comes Cookie. Yeah, this thing was crazy, boy. Listen, Texas Southern and the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. This game was just out of control before, you could even understand what was going on. Texas Southern scored 44 unanswered points before University of Arkansas Pine Bluff was finally able to get on the board behind a touchdown pass from Christian Peters to Tyreek Jinks. I mean, listen. Texas Southern, Coach Dishman said that he was going to clean up some things as far as with with himself, the coaches, and the team itself. And it looked like they came out there and did exactly that in this game. I'm just like, man, this was one game that, they played sound ball in this game. Got to give Texas Southern their props on this. You had KJ Cooper. He completed 16 passes out of 23 for 197, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. UAPB quarterback Christian Peters, he completed 14 passes out of 28 for 125. He had 1 touchdown pass and 1 interception as well. But a thin Renfro rushed the heck out the daggone ball for Texas Southern in this game. He had 22 rushes for 133 yards, and unfortunately, he didn't get the he didn't score those touchdowns rushing the ball. But you had Jordan Davis, Jacob Washington, and KJ Cooper, the quarterback. They all scored rushing touchdowns for the team in this game. And you can't forget about Mr. Richardson, who had 2 touchdown receptions also for Texas Southern, who caught 7 passes for 103 yards in the game. Look, as I stated before, Texas Southern just came out there. They just made it happen. They had the interception. They played pretty sound. They played pretty sound football in this game. They still had too many penalties, though. The penalties, man, going to kick y'all in the behind. 10 penalties for 90 yards, that's not going to work. But I will say that University of Arkansas Pine Bluff had problems with holding on to the ball. So not only did they have the interception in the game, but the defense was able to force fumbles. They forced 2, in which they were able to turn those turnovers into points, which got this game out of control very fast. So University of Arkansas Pine Bluff got to go back to the drawing board, get themselves together as far as what they're going to do next week. Arkansas Pine Bluff, they have homecoming next week against Westgate Christian. So they're going to play them next week for their homecoming. And then you got Texas Southern, who is moving on to play none other than Grambling State University. So that's going to be one hell of a game to see that go down between those two teams. But you know what? Like I stated before, congratulations to Coach Dishman and Texas Southern University getting out there, right? You know, getting everything together as far as with how they have to get themselves ready to get out there and compete in games. And as I stated before, they came out there, they handled business. 51 points. Man, I don't know the last time I seen 51 points put up by Texas Southern University, but looking at how they did it and the way that they did it, I mean, they came out there with their aggression. They were able to run the ball. They were not turning the ball all over the place, and they were executing. That is something that you want to see with teams. Get out there and execute the plays like they're supposed to, and have that mindset of staying focused for 4 quarters and continue to keep driving that ball down somebody's throat. Because, I mean, once you got your foot on their neck, you might well go ahead and stomp them out. Ain't no need to take your foot up off the gas. When you do that, that's when you get caught with your pants down. And in this instance, Texas Southern said, nah, that's not going to happen to us this time. We're going to go ahead and take care of business. But this Alabama State versus Bethune-Cookman, oh, my Lord. Listen, Cam Ransom thought he had him sleep at the wheel until Andrew Body said, not so fast, big man. We got to go ahead and show y'all what time it is. He decided he wanted to come back with a drive of his own. It wasn't immediately after Bethune-Cookman scored, but it was the drive thereafter. I think it was their second drive where they finally got things clicking and they got to moving that ball down the field. And guess what? You already know he got to throw that ball up. His receivers out there on the field. You had Derek Haddon, had him a touchdown pass for the game. You had Holesclaw got his thing going again, rushing the ball. You even had who was that? Carl Ligon. He had a rush touchdown in the game. I mean, you know, Alabama State, they did their thing in this game. I mean, they just got to putting the pressure on them boys. They scored 24 unanswered points. I mean, 17 points in the first quarter alone. And I mean, I'm sitting there looking like, okay, this thing is about to get out of hand real fast. Because one thing that I did see with Bethune-Cookman that, you know, I said before, they got to find a way. If they're going to have Cam Ransom out there as the quarterback, you got to find a way to slow this game down for him. It seemed like Bethune-Cookman got away from the recipe, run the ball. It seemed like every time you were looking to try to if Alabama State scored, you're trying to put up a big play for them to score. And Alabama State, all they did was they just brought more pressure. They said, okay, cool. You don't have the athletes that's going to beat us if we bring more pressure against you. Every time you want to drop back and throw a pass, we just going to bring more pressure. Hey, your line is going to leak. We're going to come back there. We're going to get in your face. We're going to disrupt everything. And then you got the young man running around out there on the field. And in actuality, I believe he did get hurt in the game. He went out. They ended up bringing in the second quarterback for them, which was Timothy McClain. He actually got off in this thing. This young man, he completed 26 passes out of 34 for 266 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. They did have a 100-yard rusher in it. Elijah Scott, he had 15 rushes for 100 yards, 1 touchdown. Now, Alabama State, on the other hand, they had 2 athletes that were one rushed for over 100 and 1 rushed at 100. You already know Andrew Body got his in this game. He had 7 rushes for 95 yards. And you had Jabari Kuakindle, who had 8 rushes for 106 yards, 1 touchdown. And as I stated before, Jamari Holesclaw, he had 7 rushes for 56 yards. I mean, everybody, like I said before, everybody for Alabama for Alabama State was able to eat back there in that backfield, getting that ball from Body, and they just went to work. They rushed, as a team, they rushed for 388 yards in the game. Bethune-Cookman rushed for 207 yards in the game. So, I mean, and that was on 42 rushes. That was 42 rushes for Bethune-Cookman 40 rushes for Alabama State. So just looking at that, looking at them pound this ball in the game, let everybody know this matchup coming up next week against Jackson State is going to be something to watch between these two teams, because I think they were trying to build things up to show that they can run this ball, and they're going to look to run this ball against Jackson State. It's going to be everybody on deck trying to come get this work, and we're gonna see how that game will go down. I'm gonna give y'all my rundown on that one too. But we're gonna get to this last game. Jackson State put up over 700 yards of total offense against Alabama A&M this past weekend. That is unheard of. I have not seen or heard anything like that in like forever. I mean, we got a bunch of teams that can get out here and definitely do some things from a standpoint of putting points on the board, as well as putting up yards on offense. I mean, as I stated before, Bethune-Cookman had 569 yards. Alabama State had 559 yards. So we already know offenses are rolling. Everybody is getting their offenses clicking. Now we're going to find out what these defenses are going to be able to do come for the rest of the season, because now this is when the season gets tight. We're going to find out exactly how everybody's going to move and what exactly they're going to do to position themselves to get to that coveted spot of playing for what? That daggone SWAC championship. We getting closer and closer. You know what? I'm starting to feel some kind of way, because I ain't gonna tell you no tale, because when we start getting a little closer, then that means football season is getting ready to come, you know, to the END, and I don't want to say that word, because then I'm gonna get a little emotional. I don't want to do that. But check this out. Alabama A&M, they came into Jackson, let them know, hey, listen, we ain't laying down. We come to give you that work. Their quarterback, I gotta get, you know what, I gotta shout that kid out, because I did not think that Cornelius Quad Brown was going to play in this game. I thought he was going to be out. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was out last week against Bethune-Cookman, but somehow, some way, he was ready to get out there and play in this game against Jackson State. He did complete 26 out of 39 for 341, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He went out the game with injury. I think it was the third quarter, somewhere like that. And they brought in Eric Henley, in which, you know, once that happened, it seemed like the Alabama A&M's ability to start, you know, to keep moving that ball down the field kind of went out the window, because you had Quad Brown back there. He was able to move around in that pocket and keep plays going until he was able to find a receiver down the field if he's throwing the ball, or better yet, if he wanted to take off and run it, then, you know, again, he was stretching that Jackson State defense, where they had to, you know, get out there and chase him down and try to stop him from scoring points. But Jackson State, my Lord, Jackson State had two running backs with over 100 yards in this game. You had Jackson State had 2 rushers over 100 yards in this game, and none other than Jacobian Morgan is playing lights out right now. This young man had 12 rushes for 120 yards, 1 touchdown. He completed 21 passes out of 30 for 314 yards, 4 touchdowns. And I got to say this right now, this young man is playing lights out ball. Continue to keep moving in this direction, big fella, because it looked like somebody or something has really flip that light switch on with you to say, listen, these are the things that you can do for you to get us to where we're trying to go. Believe in it. Continue to keep working in the manner what you're working. I like what you got going on out there on the field. But Travis Terrell. Terrell Davis. I'm thinking about my daggone Denver Broncos. Yeah, we did get a win today. We knocked off them Philadelphia Eagles, who was undefeated. But Travis Terrell. Travis Terrell rushed the ball 7 times for 103 yards. You had Denario Davenport, Mr. Superman himself. Diving over folks once again. Hey, look here, brother. I need you to be safe out there on that field, okay? I need you to be safe. I need you to be safe, dog. I need you to be safe. Listen, Davenport had 9 rushes for 72 yards. He had 1 rush touchdown in the game. And you can't forget about it. Murray Matthews, he got him 1 in as well. He had a rush touchdown in this game also. But you know what? The receivers for Jackson State, I mean, what more can you say? Shamar Savage Shamar Savage, 3 receptions for 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. And you had Janela Dupree. He had 3 receptions for 63 yards, 2 touchdowns. And can't forget about Jamel Gardner. He had 8 receptions for 84 yards. Again, like I stated before, they got out there, they balled out, and they did what they had to do to get this win. Now, Alabama A&M on the other hand, Davion Walker, that young man, oh my God. Hey, he was routing folks up out there on that field. I got to give a young man his props. And I mean, it is funny because he was just out there doing his thing. He had 9 receptions for 100 yards, 1 touchdown in the game. One thing I say is this. Jackson State's ability to get back there in the field and rush the quarterback. They had, 8 quarterback hurries in the game. Got to give them their props on that. They were not allowing the quarterback to sit back there in that pocket and get comfortable. They made him as uncomfortable as they possibly could. And also, they were able to get things together on the back end to prevent Alabama A&M from making a comeback in this game. This is the week, guys. This is the week. Like I stated before, all of these teams, they play lights out. Everybody that won this week, everyone that won this week played lights out. Got to give them their props as far as what they were able to do. Now's the time for you to solidify, punch your ticket. If you're behind is great, go ahead and move on to the next step, which is going to play for this daggone SWAC championship. Is there going to be a new person at the top of the mountain that's going to get crowned this year? We're going to find out as the weeks continue to move on. But guys, like I said before, this is another phenomenal week of football. I just want to go ahead and tap in on that thing. And also another thing. I'm loving what I'm seeing with the line over there with Jackson State. Them young men are actually blocking out there on that field. They're handling business. Like I said before, all of the crazy penalties. Y'all did good in the first half as far as with the penalties. I think the first half, you guys might have had 30 yards of penalties. It got a little sloppy in the second half, which had me a little worried because y'all ended up getting up to like 10 penalties for 93 yards. I'm like, guys, come on, man. We can't have all them freaking penalties. Hey, listen, teams, y'all got to stop with the penalties. The penalties is killing y'all. The penalties is killing drives. The penalties is taking points off the board. And guess what? It's going to come back to bite you. You got to cool out with all that stuff. Focus. I keep saying that every week. You got to focus. Focus, guys, on the task at hand. But you know what? Another phenomenal week of football. Just want to go ahead and congratulate all of the winners on this week of football and also congratulate all of the guys that got out there and bust their hump to try and make this thing happen. Even though if you didn't get a win and your team went out there and they bust their behind and played well this week, salute to you as well. But you know what? Your favorite coach will go ahead and get up on out this thing. But until next time, be the one and lead.